Recently, I started playing Peni Parker in Marvel Rivals. Partly because she seemed fun,
I killed him on his way out from spawn. I killed him. Move down!
and partly because I hate Spider-Man. In fact, I recently managed to solo queue from Diamond to High Celestial with Peni as my most played hero and over an 80% win rate. What I learned along the way, aside from the fact that I believe Peni is genuinely just still incredibly underrated, is that her kit is buggy. Like, just incredibly buggy. From nests that go through floors, to mines that you can place inside of walls,
This is gonna hurt.
and of course, who could forget the buggiest part of her kit in general, her grapple. It seems to have some kind of invisible coin flip mechanic if the grapple will work properly and go off and get you to the place that you're aiming, or if the web will just break and use your cooldown, leave you stranded, and then you die.
Legit? My support?
Come on.
Might be the most, but I got web bug and I'm dead.
Then, in one of my games, this happened. Did you notice it? First, I throw my web. Then, after missing, I try and grapple back to my team. As my grapple starts pulling me, all of a sudden, it switches away from the grapple that I shot and instead attaches itself to the web that I threw just beforehand. And that was a new one. That's a new bug for me. It's as if both webs landed at the exact same time and it confused the game. And it resulted in me being just slingshot across the map. And it got me thinking. Was this just a random bug in Marvel Rivals' perfect code? Surely not. Or was there a way to replicate it? To turn it into a tech, and a reliable one at that? Even if I could, how useful would that be? Let's find out.
It's time!
So, the mission is simple. I will sit in this practice range, and I will throw webs and I will grapple until I get this tech. Or I die, because frankly I'm actually just too stubborn just to not have it work at least once. I sat in this practice range trying over and over and over and over again, and I just couldn't get the timing right. I kept thinking I did it correctly, and I kept thinking both of them were hitting at the same time, and it just wasn't working. Or it would feel like my game was trying to pull me towards the grapple, and then it would just put me where it was supposed to. I was just about ready to give up. Until... it finally happened. This was my Pandora's box moment. I questioned if I should open the box or not. I could pretend that it never happened, and just leave it there. Or... surely a peek can't harm, you know? I spent the next hour in the practice range trying to see how far I could push this tech. It was difficult to test due to how precise the timing had to be, never knowing if it was me failing the timing or if the tech just wasn't possible under that scenario, but I persevered. You're about to see me hit this tech quite a lot of times in these clips, but I cannot stress enough just how difficult the timing on this actually is. To speed through all the tests I did though, I tested all the input directions, left, right, forward, backwards, strafing, everything. It worked. I tried the slingshot against walls, floors, and even the ceiling. It still worked. I tested it when you're falling and you're in the air. It worked. You can even web in one direction, grapple in the opposite direction, and it will slingshot you backwards. You can even shoot a web and then grapple at the floor, and it will slingshot you. It will just whiplash you straight from standing where you are to slamming into a wall. It's actually kind of insane, but now we know the basics. It's time to really test. How far can this go? Literally, how far? So I tried 40 meters. I tried 50 meters. 60 meters. 70 meters? Well over double the intended grapple distance. It may not sound like much on paper, but it's just genuinely absurd to watch just how fast Penny will shoot from one side of this room all the way to the other, just faster than God ever intended. Yeah! Then, just as I thought that I had testing just about everything that I could, I had another idea. Do you remember all those clips just after Marvel Rivals launched, where depending on how many frames you had, it would make you move faster with certain abilities, or even shoot faster in some cases?
Am I swinging slower? Hold up.
Look who just showed. Let's do this.
No, don't! What?
Well, I decided to uncap my frames and see what happened. And it didn't really seem to do anything. Not that I could tell, at least. And I was about ready to call it a day, but right before I left, I had one final idea. Just one more idea. What if I did the opposite? What if I lowered my frames instead? Surely that wouldn't make a difference, would it? I hit the slingshot 5 times in a row. Immediately. After practicing for hours, I could maybe do it 1 in 5 times, if I got lucky. This went from being a silly video about a useless tech that barely even worked to me beginning to believe that I had formed a psychic connection to the spider suit like Peni Parker herself. I had somehow taken the luck out of the equation to make what was an incredibly powerful but incredibly inconsistent tech consistent. And I had another choice to make. To continue to pursue the knowledge at the untold costs of the damage I could do by releasing this information to the world, I had to deeply consider if I was morally and ethically okay with continuing. Brief moral quandary aside, let me get right into showing you how you can utilize this bug, tech in your ranked games. Because remember kids, bug abuse is a bannable offense. And under no circumstances am I telling you to use this in your ranked games. How do you do this in your ranked games if you were to? Hypothetically. Well, you could use it to launch yourself at a high ground, to dive 2 supports in a DPS and then die, or you could use it to cross a large open space, which Penny, as a tank with a traditionally 30-meter grapple distance, can struggle with. Then you can fail to put your nest down on this stupid glitchy surface and then die. Seriously, netties, please, for the love of God, fix Penny's bugs. Not this one, not the grapple one, but just like, it's really fun. But just fix the other ones that get her killed. And not the cool ones that are, and also, please just buff her ult. It's so bad, please. As we've discovered, you can cover large distances, but it requires 2 cooldowns. And if you mess it up, you're just kind of stuck wherever your regular grapple ends, with no way to escape, so you'll die. It's not going to be worth it 99% of the time in a regular game. However, there is 1% of the time that I genuinely think that this tech is worthwhile, and that is rollouts. I'm thinking specifically here for this example on domination maps. So domination maps can be a struggle for Penny, or it can be a bit of a breeze, and it kind of just depends on how the initial first fight goes. So in theory, if you can hit a single or even a double grapple out of spawn, you can get yourself set up on point like unbelievably fast. Getting to the point faster than the enemy team can be the difference in winning or losing that crucial first fight. Well, after some testing, there are rollouts that you can hit on probably every single domination map. Some are definitely better and easier than others. On Hell's Heaven, for example, though, I hit this in a regular ranked game on my regular FPS, just because I've been practicing it so much. I get to the point before the enemy team is barely even halfway there. I'm already setting up mines and placing my nest. We won this first team fight and the rest of the round shortly afterwards. Even this map, which I think is probably one of Penny's worst maps in my opinion, has like a crazy rollout. If you manage to hit the double slingshot out of spawn, you can cut the enemy off at their choke, and you can try and hold the space for hopefully long enough for your team to push in. That being said, don't get carried away with how fast you get there, and then forget that the rest of your team is just absolutely nowhere near you, because if the enemy team pushes you 6v1, you'll die. But hey, if you do die immediately when you're retaking and notice that you're playing solo Penny because your 3 DPS players would rather die than spend a single second playing tank, what you can do is actually you can turn around here, hit the slingshot into spawn and swap to mag. I really do think this is a game changer, like specifically for domination maps. Having these set rollouts from spawn that you can just practice every time, there's no downside, there's no detriment to it, and it helps you train your reaction time to kind of hit the tech more consistently, and you've kind of got nothing to lose. If just incorporate it into a rollout. If you hit it, fine, cool, you get there faster. If you don't, whatever, you've not lost anything. If you want a video on more impractical Penny rollouts, let me know, because when I was making this video, I actually found a ton. And these are just kind of a few of my favorite examples. I kind of just looked at the domination maps and I haven't really tried out too many others. So if that's something you'd be interested in, go ahead and leave me a comment. And while you're there, I will say that this is actually my first YouTube video. I do plan on making more, so if you like what you see and want to see more of that, then please consider subscribing and leaving a like. I do stream on Twitch as well, so I'll leave a link to that down below. So if you want to come hang out, you know, whatever, it's cool. It's chill. Either way, you don't have to. But there you go. That concludes the video. Enjoy the tech while it lasts, because if there's one thing that NetEase is good at, it's patching out all the fun Penny techs and leaving in all the ones that get her killed. And maybe introducing new ones that make her worse. But for now, go forth with this newfound knowledge and wreak havoc, my little spiders.